How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to SeaBed, where last time we didn't get taken down. Thank goodness. It might have been a little hyperbole worry, but here's the thing. A lot of other channels that cover... Most of the ones I'm hearing about are like anime channels, which I'm not quite anime channel. I mean, I'll talk about anime, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll do like reviews of something or whatever. I'm not sure. I did a few way back when, because I didn't know what I was doing quite yet when I first started. I didn't know what my focus was going to be. However, visual novels artistically are very reminiscent of anime because most of them are from or inspired by that genre. Actually, it's funny because anime actually come from visual novels and vice versa. So, anyway, we're back here. I got a little worried because the anime industry seems to crack down on channels recently, especially with... it's kind of bogus, honestly. Like, to be fair. Most recently, the one I've been following is Lost Pause, where he's actually had to go back and started deleting all of his visual novel videos because of simple things like girls in bathing suits or flashing of underwear. I don't know. This is one of those things where, like, if it were a live action and you showed that kind of stuff, honestly, it's usually fine. Especially if it's something that's scripted and part of a scene. But no, apparently if it's anime or anime related in any way, it is a problem. So, you know, please don't kill my channel, YouTube. Like, I'm scared, but at the same time I'm not, because the real issue I think they'd have is monetization. And, you know, maybe someday, I mean, I'm not monetized now, I can't be. I'm getting close to the point where I could be approved for it, but they may not. Based on what I'm seeing with other channels, there's a good chance that they may not. And, you know, I think if that's what happens, I may pursue alternative means. Not that I really need money or anything for it, but ideally I want to build a brand and someday be able to actually spend and dedicate time to this, where we could do more projects. There's so much stuff I'd love to do to expand the types of content I do, and so that would be my goal. If I ever did something like set up a Patreon or accept donations via things like live streams, if that's even possible if you don't monetize your channel, which I have no idea, but there are options. You know, someday I just want to be able to consider the possibilities if this channel has the potential to grow and to provide entertainment and thought-provoking conversation and game and anime style reviews, you know, like these things that I want to bring to the table. I just want to see. It'd be nice if I could live that dream. But the other thing is that it's nice to know too that I just enjoy the process of just sharing my experiences so much. Like, honestly, I plan to just keep doing it as long as I can, as long as there's even a little bit of interest. Because I enjoy the whole process, and I don't ever want this to become more than something that we can just share because of our mutual love for this genre. But anyway, wow, I went a lot longer of a tangent than I expected to. Anyway, coming back to SeaBed, blah, 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 we're done talking about that. We're moving here, so we had our very fun Christmas party. I was put to the test with all my voices, and I honestly think it was terrible. It also doesn't help that I had, like, not the greatest of audio because of the fan, but, you know, worse things have happened, and we had fun. It sounds like everyone enjoyed themselves, and, yeah, we got through to the end and had a very, very, as you put it so neatly in the comments, saucy dream. But Takako seemed a little torn, where she still latched onto her love of Sachiko, but she's obviously having very strong, very real feelings for somebody else. But at the same time, it's like, can you blame someone for their dreams? Because, I mean, let's be honest, we all dream, and sometimes we don't dream about the people we're actually with, you know? So we can't really judge Takako's true feelings off based on a dream, other than the fact that she's probably got some pent-up sexual tension. And we'll have to see if anything comes from that. I mean, it's not really like her feelings haven't been at least somewhat reciprocated, so, you know, there's always that. So we have something to possibly look forward to. Anyway, I wanted to go to comments. So there were a couple comments. One of them was really good, but it was super, super long. And I've also I've shared some from Little Magi recently, so thank you, buddy. You did a great comment last time, but I'm going to go to a different comment this week. But it wasn't because yours was bad. Yours was awesome. But I wanted to highlight another person's. We have a smaller pool of commenters there, so we see lots of repeats. But this time I wanted to highlight something that I just appreciate. It's really short. And so it's from Jake, who said, I've probably not said it before, but your Takiko impression's great. Perfectly captures your personality. Thank you! I've always felt that my voice acting is one of the weaker points of my visual videos, but it's also one of my strengths. If you're coming here for serious readings, it's probably not great. I can handle some lines. If I'm reading in a more natural voice, I can handle dramatics or emotions fairly well, I think. But handling female voices, it gets touch and go on how even remotely believable they are. But I do think out of all the girl voices I do, Takiko's is probably the best one I've ever done. So I'm proud and I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. And like I know it's mostly like enjoying it like he look at him struggle. But you know, I don't really care. That's part of the fun. It's like reading a book to you guys, and an audiobook you'd never pay for, but hey, it's free, so go ahead. So anyway, thank you so much for that comment. Thank you so much for all the comments you guys leave on the smaller portion part of the channel. It's every little bit's even that much more precious. So thank you for taking the time, and let's see if we can start solving some stuff. Because gosh darn it, I want to figure out what the heck's going on, and more importantly, I wonder how much longer we have of this. Like, I don't know. Like, this one, based on what I'm watching, I thought this one was going to be a lot shorter than it is, but it's really growing into something that's almost similar, comparable length, possibly to one of the Muv-Love segments, you know, like Muv-Love Extra, which is pretty insane for the level of, what do you call it, funding and the level of, you know, manpower that felt like went into this. I played lots of visual novels that are very similarly restricted. They were like tiny, like the Panzer Mädels, the tank dating simulator one. I think that one was only like 9 episodes long or something. But this one's blown that out away, and I feel like we're not even halfway there. So anyway, hope you enjoy my voices. Anyway, wow. How long have I been doing this? Yeah, 8 minutes talking. I'm sorry. We're gonna get right into it now. The rays of sun filtered in through the marmalade-colored western window of the kindergarten, elongating the shadows of the three of us inside. Okay, so this, from what I'm guessing, this is a memory from Takiko. Takiko, and is this going to be Dr. Narasaki, or is this going to be someone else? Because they all look the same! I held a picture book in my hand that masqueraded as the doctor's notebook. Takiko was pressing her stethoscope against the belly of a doll. Does the stethoscope have a right and a wrong side? She asked me. You're holding it correctly. I see. She took the stethoscope off and put it on the table. There was a whole lineup of toy medical toys on it, all to be used as part of the game. Takiko looked over at them for a second, and after a brief moment of hesitation, what's this? She picked up a spatula, generally used to hold down the tongue. And, oh, I like whistled there. I can't normally whistle, so that was one of the rarest things we've ever seen. Like, me making a whistling sound. I really just can't figure out how to do it normally. That's like the closest I could get. Oh, the nurse is looking. I turned around and saw the nurse looking our way. She picked up a plush bunny we left on the floor earlier and put it back in its box. I couldn't make out her face out in the backlight. Was she looking at us? Yes. You seem to be very untrustworthy, Doctor. I fear for your future patients if you ever actually become one. Wait, what? Who's... what? Okay, I don't know who's talking here. I think Narasaki's better than you, Takiko. Okay, so that's the three of them. Okay, so that's what the problem is. There's three of them. And, that's once again the greatest flaw of this visual novel is that it can't tell who's talking. I think Narasaki's better than you, Takiko. Okay, we can switch if you want. Narasaki stood up. She picked up the stethoscope, put it around her neck, and sat down in the chair. So, where does it hurt? I ate a poisoned apple. Just like in the story we read today. In that case, please show me your stomach. Okay. Takiko pulled up her shirt, exposing her naked belly. Alright, now turn around. Takiko did as ordered, phantoming a spinning chair. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with your lungs. Okay, let's have a look at your throat now. Takako spun her invisible chair again and opened her mouth. Open wide? Open wide? Yeah, just like that. Narasaki used the spatula to push, the spatula, I think, it seems more likely to be a tongue depressor. Anyway, the spatula to push Takako's tongue out of the way. You're good at opening your mouth. I can see all the way to your tonsils. The whole thing the same thing. I have no idea what you're saying, though. That's kind of cute. So maybe the nurse was Sachiko? I don't know. I can't tell. Or were they all just in the hospital together? The letters blurred and started dancing on the page. Oh, that was Dr. Narasaki. I closed the book and rubbed my eyes with one hand. Okay. Hang on here. We've crossed the bridge again, and now we're back at Sachiko's timeline, but with Dr. Narasaki. Unless they're... Oh, God. I glanced at the clock resting on the edge of the long table. And so wait, so that was the story that she's reading in the book that she probably took from Sachiko. What are you reading? Kozuha, sitting on the other end of the table, addressed me. Oh, that's what she did. What are you reading? It's a book about psychological illness. Oh, I hope you get better. Ooh, nice burn. I'm not the one afflicted. Kozuha exhaled with a aloof breath. She looked toward my direction, her eyes narrowed. Perception and Behavior Psychology? She read out the title of the book I was holding. It's the book I was looking for. Lily said it used to be a sanatorium when you two were talking, so I figured I'd try my luck. Are you a doctor? That's right. What kind of doctor? Right now, a psychologist, but I've got training in a variety of fields. I see. Where? How? Why are you? Despite saying that, Kozuha looked at me with incredulous eyes. I didn't flinch, and soon enough her gaze mellowed out. I've never known a doctor before. Really? No, that came out wrong. Really? Kozuha began tilting her head to the side, but stopped the moment she caught herself doing it. The school is a counselor, though. You can become a counselor without a doctor's license as long as you have the relevant education. Is that person a friend of yours? No. He came to my house this one time when I was skipping classes a lot. Apart from that, I only saw him in ethics class. You skip school a lot? When I feel tired. It's not like I enjoy slacking off for long periods of time. I was just really tired then. Did you go to school afterwards? Yes. I got even more tired once my parents started fussing over it. How do you relax on the days when you're tired? I sleep until there's no one else in the house, which is usually around 9 o'clock. After that, I read books. No one comes back until night, so sometimes I go outside during the afternoon. And that helps you with your exhaustion. I pried a bit further. Kozuha furrowed her brow as though trying to remember what she told me. I suppose tried was not the right word. Going to the same place every day bores me to death. I want to change of scenery from time to time. Like choosing a less traveled road to school, or boarding a train and letting it take you across town and back until sundown. Stuff like that. You get what I'm trying to say? I've actually done that kind of a thing before. Like, I don't know, I didn't grow up around like a place that had a lot of buses or trains or anything, but I loved to, and I still love to go on just aimless drives. Back home, obviously, when I knew the area super well, I really could just go aimless wherever I wanted. I just would go pick a direction, just drive. Very flat but rolling countryside. Lots and lots of fields, mostly potato fields, or sugar beets. A lot of sugar beets back home. The town I lived in only had a population of 60,000, which big enough to have some fun stuff to do in town, but also very much in the middle of nowhere. Like, to get to a big city that had anything resembling, like, theater, transportation system, big airport, 4-hour drive. Like, over 200 and some miles away. And so it's like, it's one of those weird things, like, I grew up in a city, and very much am a city person, but one of the most rural cities you can never find in the United States. But yeah, so it meant that you could just go driving for hours and hours. And the beautiful thing about southern Idaho is it's all part of a basin that used to be like, if you've ever heard of Yellowstone National Park, it's like the semi-active / slumbering supervolcano where it's got all like the cool like hot pools and such. My grandpa actually lived close to there, but the valley which I lived in was kind of like the blasted craters and trail of the Yellowstone National Park as it slowly traversed in the Earth's history across like the North American tectonic plate. So like it doesn't take too long if you drive to find large flowing ancient lava fields. And that's one of the most oddly beautiful and also terrifying things to see. I mean, it looks like freaking Mordor, but there is a serenity to those places. And it's always interesting to find like how life still struggles and thrives in places where it feels like it shouldn't do so. That was a nice reminiscence trip. I don't know. I miss home a little bit. It used to be super boring, and I'm really happy where I am now with my family, but I do miss it every once in a while. And so, like I said, Kozu and I had a lot in common. I think... I'm guessing I was a little more social than she is, but I'd get tired too. And doing stuff like that, it would help. It would help. I used to be a student as well. And even now, I'm forced to do more or less the same thing every day. Don't you ever get tired of it? I do. Everyone does. Kozo placed her elbows on the desk and rested her chin on her hands. Can't I just become like those cats that always sleep on the fence? Maybe even the cat wonders maybe even the cat wonders why we all spend our time working with barely any rest. Anyway, people are different from napping felines. We can't just do whatever we want. I mean, that cat has everything provided for it. Like, it just kind of craps wherever it wants as long as it's appropriate. And they get fed food, or they steal food and drink water. I mean, it'd be tempting if someone were to do that to me, just to bring me food and water and such, and I never ask for anything other than just for my existence. It might be tempting to live that way, but then that's just boring. It's like it's funny because she's talking about how like she's bored, but she doesn't want to have to like do stuff all the time. She just wants to kind of be in her own thoughts, and yet I imagine that lifestyle would quickly become like insanely bored because it's expediting the stuff that she doesn't like, despite the fact that it cuts down on the stuff that she doesn't like. She needs to find a hobby. I mean, she needs to find a hobby that she can really commit herself to, which it kind of looks like she has with all of her study. Sure, we're not cats, but still, why can't we live the way we want? People have their positions in society. We're all social animals. We have our roles to fulfill in communities. My legs started hurting as my current position, so I recrossed them under my table. Actually, I got to do the same. My legs falling asleep. And the community returns the favor. Schools provide you with education, while families provide you with your livelihood, until that role is taken over by you and your workplace, of course. And it's all structured in a way that makes it as functional and effective as possible, which forces people to do the same thing, the thing that they are best at, over and over again. Will it get better when I grow up? What do you mean exactly? I suppose that, yes, my life, while becoming infinitely more complex, and I have to be a heck of a lot more accountable for stuff, and bills are scary, scary things, I am much happier, and I find a lot more fulfillment in life now. And it's funny because this channel, I think I've said this a while back, but this channel was saving me from my insanity. Because of the way things are, my wife has a very successful career. She wanted to keep working, and she also was going to be able to make good pay. I was able to finish my education, and so when we had our boys, I became a stay-at-home dad. And I went from being very socially active and having a lot of drive and a lot of focus on what I was like applying myself for, to being at home. And while that takes a lot of drive and a lot of focus and a lot of work, probably more than you would assume, I felt like there wasn't much that I was doing for me anymore, and I was feeling very mentally unhealthy from that. And so my wife and I got together and talked about it, and this channel was born from out of a need for me to have something that was mine, that could push myself and teach myself skills I didn't have. And boom, TheBlueShifting was born. And it has been one of the best blessings in my life because it's helped me have a structured focus. It's pushed me to do things I've never done before. I've built skills that I think are almost marketable at this point, like basic video editing. I can do some pretty good stuff there. I just can't do any special effects yet, but I hope to learn. And then this could be a platform for so many other things, so many other talents, such as writing. I want to get more into reviews if I can. I want to become involved in the visual novel community in ways that most people can't, you know? And the sky's really the limit here. Like you guys help me so much, and you show me your support, and it helps give me that motivation to push for more. And as I push for more and I achieve more, I'm going to find more opportunities, and it's going to be a cycle. And, you know, I want to make this into something. I have no idea exactly where this train's going, but I'm happy to be on it. I'm asking if life will become any less boring. I couldn't help but smile at Kozua's childish question. She seemed to consider an easy and unchanging life boring. At the same time, though, it could be considered the embodiment of peace, something that many people held in high regard. Why would it? Well, compared to school, there are all sorts of jobs in the world, and you're free to choose whichever you like. I see. So you're right about the world is rife with various different occupations to choose from. At school, you only have the student council, while adult society has countless companies, divisions, positions, industries, occupations, and all sorts of other things that divide and sequester the world. Kozuo listened to me in somewhat dim eyes. However, this level of extreme specialization severely narrows the scope of your job compared to what you're used to at school, which is why people tend to be likened to cogs in a machine. Yep, I actually have a friend who got stuck in this trap. He's brilliant at working at computer programming, IT stuff. He has a specialization, which I think currently involves a lot of programming that's... I think he works right now for a cell phone company like AT&T or something. And he's a specialist at something that most people aren't specialists anymore. And it means that he's actually pretty highly regarded, and he often gets headhunted for other jobs, which he desperately wants because he needs an increase in income. He hasn't been able to get one in a while. However, he's become so specialized that the rest of the programming's kind of left him behind because his whole work was focused on this narrow view. And so now he's applying for these new jobs, but they're turning him down because he is so specialized that he can only function in that one regard, and these companies need a little bit more. And so, that's one of the dangers of letting yourself get specialized. I mean, sure, it can help guarantee you a job, but at the same time, that scope that makes the world looks like it has, you narrow it yourself, and you can't just be idle, because that just narrows it even to the point of oblivion. Why does it have to be so specialized? I don't know. Maybe because everyone's competing in the same field. As our goals keep getting bigger and bigger and our population increases, everyone has to be an expert in their respective roles. A cog, said Kazuha, her expression clouding over. If you look at the big picture, we're like an awesome giant robot, I said. I like that. How does everyone let us steam in a world like that? Well, that depends on the person. It's something you'll gradually get to learn at home, at school, or even during your club activities. Boom, this channel is how I blow off steam. Is that how it works? Also, D&D. I'm running a D&D campaign right now, and oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It's been a while, and I'm finally doing a job. I think I'm doing a good job finally. It's like one of the best ones I've ever done. Hopefully my players agree. Most of the time, at least. Kazuha left out a small sigh. I suddenly don't feel like going to school tomorrow. I couldn't help making a sour expression myself. Still, maybe I'll pay a little bit more attention from now on. I'm glad to hear that. With the subject covered, Kazuha shifted her gaze back to her book. I returned to my book as well. I continued several records about the past treatments, which made me hope I could find one that resembles Sachiko's situation. How do you work exactly? Kazuo addressed me around the same time I finished making a note of every case worth looking into. Me? I said, taken by surprise. I reacted with a foolish question. There was no one else in the room, so Kazuo just continued staring at me, saying nothing. Well, fine, little miss. Made an embarrassed smile. I'm not sure how you imagine it, but psychologists aren't like other doctors. We don't mess with your body too much. At best, we recommend some medicine. What kind of patients come to you? Most of the people that visit my place are either old men that use dementia as an excuse to talk about their grandchildren, or housewives who come to complain about their husbands and daily chores. That's something I've heard about, like that right there. I lived that. Like, I'm living that now. Being the stay-at-home parent. From what I've learned, like, once again, take it with a grain of salt, because I've never been there and I've never lived there, so I don't know anything about Japan. But from what I've heard that there is it's very traditional in the respect of like the dad goes to work, the mom stays home with the kids. It's very traditional in most places around the world, and tradition is very important in the culture of Japan. And so a lot of women go and get skills to get a good job, but then when they get married and they have a kid, like, it's kind of the expectation that they're going to suddenly drop everything and go home and be a mom. And like, that can be hard. It can be really hard to change gears like that, especially when you yourself have your own ambitions. Like, if you want to be a homemaker, like, that's your legitimately like the thing you're looking forward to most, I mean, go for it. You'll still have stresses, I'm sure, but I'm sure it's a lot easier than for people like me or anybody you could know, where the choice was obvious and it was happily made, but came at a severe cost of feeling like you lose your identity in a way. Because you barely get to talk to people and you're trapped in a house. It feels like you have nothing else you can do but stay at home. And so, like, I can understand why some people would want to go see a counselor. Like I said, if I hadn't started the channel, I probably would have wanted to go and see counseling because I was going crazy. But I found a way to vent. I found a way to purge the pent-up feelings through the channel, because this is something I can do at home. Man, I'm talking a lot about this channel today. I'm sorry, but the conversations just are perfect for this subject. Sounds like a pain, but even I could hear them out. It doesn't take a genius to listen. What do you do when they finish talking, then? Well, first I have to listen carefully, find out exactly what the cause of what's weighing on their mind. Then I think about how to help them overcome it. Sounds simple enough. Well, it may not be as easy as you think. You can't see inside a person's mind, after all. This is the other mind's dilemma. The other mind's dilemma is one of the reasons why psychology is such a slow science to study, and why it honestly might be barriered. Because I can sit here and tell you exactly what's going on in my head, and even if I'm perfectly accurate, where I haven't misinterpreted anything, or I'm misreading anything, or I'm confused about anything that's going on in my mind, and I've mastered my own thoughts, and I know exactly how to communicate them to you, you will never truly know if I'm telling the truth. There's no evidence besides some possible actions that can really help you understand how my brain works. Neuroscience is probably the closest we have, and even then, it's so different. Like, people's neural networks are so different from person to person. There's no like concrete way to predict behavior and predict results of medication or counseling. It really is one of the biggest hurdles in science right now, is the other mind's issue. How is it not easy? It's different from simply opening your mouth and inspecting the conditions of the tonsils, or listening for abnormalities in the beating of their heart. Everyone's mind is unique and different from mine, so you can neither quantify anything nor tell good from bad with exact precision. Boom. That was so much better said than I said it, but it's exactly the same. It's the idea of like science, like aristocratic scientific method science is based on observation. You build hypothesis, you test hypothesis with proper controls, you make observations, you record your data and derive conclusions based on what you find. But that's almost impossible to do because it's so hard to quantify anything that has to do with the mind. Then what do you do? I'm having a hard time putting it into words. However, Kazuo felt completely silent, obviously waiting for an answer. I took a breath and considered how I could convey at least the gist of it to her. It might be easier to understand if you imagine the mind as a large swath of water. Its surface could be ravaged by storms, while the deeper parts remain undisturbed. However, there are times when the sea appears calm enough from the beach. When you step into the water, you end up getting swept away by the underwater currents. Ooh, that's actually a really good analogy. People's emotions work in a similar way. To find out what's really going on, you have to delve deep. Just looking at the surface, or even mid-depth, won't yield a definite answer. You have to reach the bottom. So you dive as deep as you can and shine a light in the darkness you find there. And it's only then that you start to see the genuine thoughts of that person. They are all like deep-sea fish, living in the depths no one knows about. They evolve in their own unique and unrestrained way. And sometimes, when you shine the light on them, you realize they are somehow distorted or missing something. Your job is to convey that to the person and help them fix it. After a few moments of silence, Kozawa made a small nod. I'm not sure I understand it. Can't exactly blame you. Guess it's not that easy after all. Yep! Hey, have you ever ridden a train until sundown? Not yet. Are you sure you're still sane? I have other ways to relax. You will recall how I said each person is unique. I get enough changes at a pace as it is. I wish I could be like that too. As the hour grew closer to lunchtime, Kozawa began stuffing her notebook into her backpack. Going home? She slung the full backpack over her shoulder. Yes. I see. In that case, can I have one last question? Kozawa passed by my chair but turned around as I addressed her. What? I'm looking for a picture book with birds. Do you know where they keep them? No. And with that, Kozawa trotted out of the library. A picture with birds. The library is dead silent when I Kozawa and Lily. The short heels of my red shoes clicked against the floor, their sound reverberating across the walls and the high ceiling. For fun, I tried making them click at calculated intervals, producing akin to the sound of a ticking clock. On the second floor shelf, near the window, I finally found a wild bird encyclopedia. I picked it up, brushed off the dust, and flipped through a few pages. I saw something blue and returned to that page. There was a picture of the bluebird I saw yesterday on the windowsill. It's that tree again. I left the library sometime after noon. As I passed the row of olive trees and reached the inner yard, I heard voices from the rough direction of the camphor tree. I followed the sound to see Nanae talking to a girl I didn't know. The girl sat on plastic sheets surrounded by a bunch of toys. As she nodded, Nanae patted her on the head, which made her close her eyes in response. Nanae is the one that's like Sachiko finds interesting. It's very similar to Takako, right? I'll be back with snacks. And with that, Nanae disappeared into the mansion through a side entrance. Left alone, the girl was in playing with her toys. With her short hair fastened to the side of tail, she reminded me of Takako in her childhood. I moved to her side so as not to startle her. The girl was trying to give her doll some milk. However, unable to properly press the tip of the bottle to the doll's mouth, she kept brushing it against its face. I looked at her profile. Big eyes, angled, energetic-looking eyebrows. She shared some features with Takako, but she definitely wasn't her. Hello! I addressed her as I reached the camphor tree. Oh, hello. The girl turned toward me. However, her eyes were fixed not on me, but the doll I was holding. I made the doll's hand move as though it was knocking on the door. Who is it? I am Hibiki. I work nearby as a doctor. What about you? I am Mia. She is Lily. She showed me the baby doll she was holding. Now she kind of looks like the nurse. You two came here alone? She shook her head. I came here with my brother, but he went out to the mountains, leaving me to care for everything. I see. Must be tough on you. It is. The girl was staring at the doll in my hands. I made a walk and bow in front of her. It's dirty. I made an embarrassed smile. It had obvious tear marks and its color had mostly faded. Well, it's a pretty old doll after all. It might not look like much now, but he's actually our clinic's mascot. I moved my doll's hand to take the milk bottle from the girl's, and by shifting its angle a little, pushed it into the mouth of her doll. As I did that, the liquid inside the bottle decreased. Thank you. This time, the little girl looked at me. You're welcome. Miss Doctor, would you accept an invitation for dinner as a token of our gratitude? I like that idea. The girl began preparing dinner, placing toy plates and food on a board. It looks delicious. I see you put a melon pie and some vegetable soup. But what's this? Potato salad. The door on the side entrance opened. Yeah, okay, this is her. Oh. Nana closed the door behind her with one leg. She was carrying a tray full of madeleines and had an extra madeline in her mouth. Good evening. Good evening, I greeted her with my doll. Nana came closer to us and saw the food the girl had prepared. Excuse me. Don't know where that came from. Oh, that smells nice. You want some too, Nana? Of course. I even brought dessert. Let's have some later. Nanae. And Nanae and then Sanae. Names are so similar. That's the thing, like, I'm noticing there's, like, so many paralleling names that are so close to each other that it's uncanny. All of it's uncanny. There's something going on. Eventually, Mia's brother returned to come pick her up. You sure you got all your toys with you? Mia spent a few moments rummaging through her bag, then stuck her hands in her pockets and checked for something in there as well. Yes. Hey, whoa, hey, what? Ouch! What's up with running off and leaving your little sister all on her own? Further away, it seemed like Nanae's iron fist of punishment had just landed on the boy's head. Bop. He staggered backward, clutching his head with one of his hands. Miss Narasaki. I felt someone tug on my sleeve. Glancing down, saw Mia looking at me. I leaned down and patted her on the head. Goodbye. Let's play again sometime. Be careful on your way back, okay? Mia smiled and ran to her brother and Nanae. Things ended well this time around. What do you think would have happened if she tried following you and got lost in the mountains? Someone has to look after her. Use your head. You're her brother. I thought you looked after her after I left her here. Mia's brother kept making excuses in a small voice while still clutching his head. Move your hand. I'm going to give you another one. Nanae. Mia tugged on Nanae's sleeve with a worried expression. Nanae let out a sigh and lowered her fist. Well, whatever. Make sure to be home by the time it gets dark. Wow, I slaughtered that line, sorry. I'm sorry. The boy lowered his head and took Mia's hand and her bag and walked off. I told everything that happened to your parents, so you better be ready when you get home. The boy startled for a moment, but then continued walking. As I watched the siblings walk off in the afternoon glow, Nanae turned to me and made an embarrassed smile. I ended up causing you trouble. Nah, it's okay. It's been a while since I could return to my inner child. It was fun. Really? I'm glad to hear that. Contrary to her words, her expression still remained somewhat sour. You sure you didn't go overboard with that boy? Don't worry. I know all the kids and their parents around here. I can't let them misbehave in front of my eyes. What if he started hating you for beating him as such? I'm sure he'll understand. And if he starts hating me, I'll do my best to change his mind. You don't want to upset them, but you can't let them do as they please either. That's the hard part about being an adult. Oh yeah, tell me about it. Nana shook her head. Jeez. Interesting. We've been going for a while. I wonder if this is a good time. It's like, it's going to be a short episode if we cut it here. But that's like a perfect transition. I think we'll have a shorter episode this time. I had to talk a lot, and I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me chatting about this stuff. And plus, like, now we can really dive into Sachiko. So it almost like it was a little interlude there. I hope that was okay. But once again, it's also like, to be fair, on my end, it is getting a lot later than usual. I had some delays getting to the recording session, so it might be best if I just end it here. So, anyway, yeah, all right. So, you guys have helped me see that the time dilation issue is really not what's happening here. We still could be looking at two divergent, like, world lines, possibly. But then again, it still seems odd. I just don't know what's happening. And like I said, there's so many parallels between names and mannerisms. Like, Takako has, like, a new Sachiko, and Sachiko's found a new Takako. People who are, like, remarkably similar in appearance and mannerisms to them, but, like, definitely decidedly different. And they still have memories of each other. And then we have Kozua, who is, like, in both of their experiences. What the heck's all that about? It's just confusing. But that's the nature of the job, right? Like, that's the nature of this. It's supposed to be confusing. I imagine it'll all make sense at some point. I'll finally pull the curtain back a little bit, and we'll see what's actually happening. But for now, not quite there yet. Hopefully we're getting close to that, because I'd love to have a grasp of the situation a little bit better, because all my theories are just kaput. There's, like, I have nothing else to really be able to pull out for this, at least at the moment, given the level of information I currently have. But yeah, no, I think we had a nice, good campfire talk today. I got to kind of share a lot of my personal feelings and a lot of my personal sides of things. And heck, even got to reminisce about home a little bit, which is pretty fun. But yeah, it's one of those weird things too. Like, I doubt you'll ever have a chance to, but if you ever get a chance to go up into, like, the northwest United States, going around, like, Idaho, Utah, Montana, Wyoming area, like, really, like, go to Yellowstone if you can during your life. It's such a unique place. If you want to see the lava flows, or at least, like, a section of them that has, like, a lot of really interesting terrain and places to go see, look up Craters of the Moon National Park in Idaho. Brilliant place to go visit. They have lots of hiking trails and caves and stuff. Granted, if you want to just see lava flows, all you have to do is come to southeastern Idaho, and that's all it is besides farms is lava flows. But Craters of the Moon is one of the places where you can just see some really unique terrain that's, like, even specialized compared to normal lava flows. Yeah, there's a lot of cool places to go up there, like places I would highly recommend if you ever get the chance. So yeah, if you're ever curious, like, if you're ever going up there, I don't know, drop me an email or something and ask me what places you should go try and see. I can give you some pretty solid insight there. It's where I spent my whole life growing up. But anyway, yeah. So I'm hoping this time, as we start to get to know Sachiko, maybe we'll get some more information from her, like, hallucinations, which is something that's interesting. Takako doesn't have hallucinations. It looks like she just has lapses of her memory. Sachiko seems to have lapses of her memory, but she seems to be writing her own memories on top of her actual memories. So it's very interesting. And there's also that book. Like, it seems like the book might be something there where, like, the pages were torn out, and it looks like it's almost like each half made it to each world somehow. But I don't know. It also doesn't help that I started playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time, which I know, right? Like, I just never owned a PlayStation until recently. And man, the whole thing, it's already, like, it's like simple but confusing at the same time. But I'm still playing. I played a little bit of it because I borrowed it from a friend, or, like, played it at their house or something growing up. But I'm quickly catching up to that point where I got. So I'm excited to get beyond it and actually see what that story is all about in preparation for number 3. So yeah. But that's one of those things, like, I've considered trying to stream from my PlayStation. However, I don't have a laptop for handling the microphone recording, so it'd have to be through, like, a headset, or I might be able to use my phone. Like, recording with your phone is a pretty effective way to have a decent microphone, but it's still touchy. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But also, it's not visual novel stuff, so it's like, where would I even fit it into the schedule? I don't know. But anyway, enough blabbing, man. I won't shut up tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed today. I'd love to hear your comments. Also, I guess what are the things that you do to keep yourself sane? Many of you probably are working, but if you're not working, what's it like for you being the stay-at-home parent? Or you also could just be, doing your own thing. Maybe you're going to school, or maybe you're just waiting at things out. Like, what's your experience? Like, how do you keep your sanity and doing what you do? Like, what is it that you vent to? What helps you deal with the stresses of life, of being a cog somewhere? It's a good conversation. And if you're not sure if you have one, I highly recommend you figure something out. Like, you need to find a way to vent your stress. You need to find a way to process emotions that you just can't muscle your way through, because they build up and they can make things really stressful, and they can contribute to like emotional explosions. When you will randomly get super mad at people, or have things like road rage, it's good to have. So if you don't have one of those, listen to some of our testimonies about like how important it is to have one, and I'm sure we'll have a few stories in the comments, and just think about it. And once again, heck, if you ever really need to reach out to me in particular and just want to chat about something, I'm probably open to emailing. I don't know. That's not very sustainable. If I have a ton of people emailing me, I can't really do that kind of thing. But in this situation, with this subject, I think it's something that's actually important enough that I wouldn't mind exchanging an email or two about the importance of having something to vent about, and having a hobby, and having something to do. But anyway, let's all end this now. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. It's been a pleasure having you here, as always. And until the next video you're watching me, or whatever you see me in next, I'll see you there.